Hi guys, it's Frankie from Frankie Tech. Good to see you guys again. And here it is, guys. It is my big comparison review between the Mi Pad 4 Plus, the entry-level iPad, the $329 one, and the Amazon Fire HD 10. Now, bear with me with this one, guys, because this is my first tablet review. This is the first time I've ever had an opportunity to do an overview like this of tablets. So these are much bigger devices. You see them here, but I'm going to try to handle them as well as I can. And we're going to do just the classic Frankie Tech comparison review here. So just go down the laundry list of design, display, performance, audio, and then do kind of quickly talk about the cameras. But most importantly, at the end, I'm going to be doing a quick gaming section there, and I'm going to be testing Asphalt 9 on these awesome tablets. So let's have a look at them first, but let's kind of get started here with the one you're probably most interested in, and that's here, the Mi Pad 4 Plus. Now, if you guys have seen my channel, I just got this tablet a few days back. I've been putting it through its paces, and I gotta say, wow, it's been a really awesome time. This tablet, at its price, it really kind of surprised me how good a tablet it actually is. And for the price, really comparing between these other two here, I mean, honestly, the iPad entry level is still a great value. The HD Fire 10 is almost more of a consumption tablet, but I feel this one is kind of in between the two in terms of pricing, and it offers a lot of pros over these two, and we'll be going through those right now. But let's have a look here as we do a comparison review of these three awesome tablets. So before we go into design here, let me talk quickly about the overall price of these tablets, just to be exact here for you guys. So the Mi Pad 4 Plus, you're going to be looking at around 300 euros. So I got this for around 2,200 Hong Kong dollars. So just kind of at that entry-level Pocophone price right here for this this awesome tablet. Now, obviously, you know, the iPad, the entry-level iPad here is going to be 329 USD, just about, or around 350 euros, just about. So depending on the configurations you get, this one, for example, though, is the 32 gig base storage version. So it's a very entry-level, the most entry-level version right here. And talking about the actual the Kindle Fire HD 10 here, it's the cheapest of the three by far. It's around 170 euros, or just around maybe 150 US dollars is what I think you can get this tablet for. Maybe on special discounts you can get this tablet for even less. So it'll be interesting to see how those compare now that we know the prices. All right, so talking about design, let's kind of go down the list here, and let's start with the Mi Pad 4 Plus. This Mi Pad 4 Plus is around 485 grams, so it is around a pound, pretty similar, just slightly heavier than the 469 on the iPad here, but it's around 1 pound in terms of weight. It's got an 8mm thickness to it, so it is a little bit thicker than kind of the tablets I've been used to using. I used the iPad Pro for a long period of time, and only just recently had switched to the entry level because I just didn't find myself using my iPad that often. But I do know, you notice here, I think the iPad is 7.5 millimeters, if I'm not mistaken, so it's a little more svelte, but it's not enough to really notice the difference that much. The entry level still feels, it's about the same thickness as here, the Mi Pad 4. And you notice here, the most kind of obvious thing that you notice is just kind of the way it's been designed. It is a bit of a fingerprint mag because it's got this black color here, but oh man, to any of you guys who loved the original iPad mini, if you guys remember the iPad mini when it was released in this black version. If you guys remember some of Apple's products in the past, the iPhone 5 was the kind of this darker model, and then every other device they've released since had more of this kind of space gray look. Well, guess what, guys? I kind of love the fact that we have this kind of black on black tablet option here, and you know, I know it's a bit of a fingerprint magnet, but it just looks so much more stealth, so much more nice. So I do like the design compared to the iPad right here. So, and obviously the iPad, as you guys know it, very standard iPad here, and just kind of comparing, let's see quickly where the actual buttons and configuration of this are here. You got the 3.5mm headphone jack at the top, power, a volume rocker, power right here, and you got your kind of dual speakers down here. Now, I think I heard sound coming out of these two. I'll have to test that in a second. And this is the LTE version right here, guys. So you do have a SIM tray right there. So, you know, honestly, the design of this is really nice, and I really love that it's in that space black version. I won't go over kind of the overview of where the actual things are on the iPad because it's pretty standard. You may know it already. Power button at the top, 3.5mm headphone jack, and you got your kind of your speakers and mics at the bottom there. Looking at the HD10, let's give this one some love now. This tablet, honestly, I've enjoyed it a lot for content consumption. That's why I bought it, because I am a member of Amazon Prime. And for any of you Amazon Prime, look at this blue version here I got. It is plastic though. So in terms of design and build, let's see if you can hear that. Yeah. That's a cheap tablet right there. A cheap tablet because it creaks and you feel it when you're holding it. It's just not premium. It's not a premium tablet. The build quality of the HD10 is just at a much lower level than these two right here. And if I had to pick kind of the winner of just the design, just between these three, I'm going to pick the Mi Pad 4 Plus. Just because at this entry level, if you look at the bezel and you kind of look at the screen to body ratio here, I think the Mi Pad 4 Plus is offering a much more modern look versus these two. And this is kind of I would say the iPad Pro from the iPad series is the one that would closely stack up to this, but this is so much cheaper. This is so much cheaper than the iPad Pro. So you can't really make that comparison. So I think for first place, I'd definitely pick the Mi Pad 4 Plus, and then followed by the iPad, and then last place is the HD 10 here in terms of design. Now talking about display, and I think this is going to be one that you guys are going to be very curious about right here. Just in terms of sizes though, let's go down the list. We have a 10.1 inch display here on the the Mi Pad 4 Plus, 9.7 on the iPad, and a 10.1 on the HD10. Now let's compare these two, because that really proves there that that both of these have the same size display. But look at that size differential there. I mean, is this bezel-tastic or what? Well, you know what? It's a cheap tablet, and it's not a bad tablet at all. But you see, look how much Xiaomi has been able to shave off, almost an inch worth of height compared to the HD10 here with this Mi Pad 4 Plus. And so because of that, you have just a much larger display in a much smaller body. So I really do appreciate that. Now, but talking about the actual kind of display resolution here, on the Mi Pad 4 Plus, it's a 1200 by 1920. So you have a 224 ppi. And on the HD10, let's go over there, because this is 16 by 10 aspect ratio, and this is also a 16 by 10 aspect ratio. In fact, they both have the exact same resolution. So between those two right there. Now, there is a major difference, though, between the Mi Pad 4 Plus and the HD10, and that is that the screen, the display, you can see it there. This one is laminated, guys. This is a major win at this price point for this Mi Pad 4 Plus. It is a laminated display, so that basically means there's no air gap between the actual display and the glass here. And you can kind of see it. It's hard to tell on these ones, but you can definitely tell there that there is an air gap on the HD10. And guess what? On the entry-level iPad, there's also an air gap. So, and it's hard to see kind of in this angle, but you can kind of see the edge there where you have it. So, I mean, just because of that, you might say, okay, that means that this is the winner in terms of display because it is a laminated display. And I would almost agree with you right there, but I will say that the screen on the iPad, just the entry-level iPad, is still the most resolution-rich, the most pixel-dense display of the three. At a 1536 by 2048 pixels, this is still rocking 264 ppi. So for all you PPI lovers out there, sounds like P, but no, all you PPI, pixel per inch lovers, this is still going to be your best option if that is all you care about. But at 224, I know this in the comment section, you guys were asking, oh, like it doesn't look very crisp. Like I can tell, look, well, like to me, it looks all right. I guess maybe I've been used to using the HD10 as my other tablet, but I don't think it's a problem. And like let's kind of jump in here just to kind of a random website. Let's go to GSM Arena. There you go. So if you see it there, yeah, sure, you can maybe start making out a little bit of pixelation, but honestly, like it is not a deal breaker at all. It's still a very, very kind of sharp display. In my opinion, 224 is still totally fine. And so one thing I quickly wanted to test here also was video viewing, because obviously as consumption, devices, tablets are going to be used for kind of watching stuff a lot. So let's see how they view just video here. I'm going to click a random Frankie Tech video right here. And so this is, you can see there, that one took a little bit longer to go. Now I'm going to try to see how I can do this full screen here. So let's kind of adjust the angles here. Listen to the sound there. It gets pretty loud, so you're not going to have an issue hearing it. But I wanted to kind of show you guys what it looks like viewing on this Mi Pad 4 Plus here. And you can see there's still black bars on each side. It's a 16 by 10 aspect ratio, so it will be a little bit wider still than the 16 by 9 you're used to on phones. But I think overall it still looks like a really nice viewing experience. You get the full length video there on the Mi Pad 4 Plus. Now in contrast, you see here the iPad, it has major bars, and that's because it's using a 4:3 aspect ratio. Now I know some of you guys were kind of wondering how does that compare? Because the old Mi Pad series, they all had kind of that 4:3 aspect ratio. Well, guess what? That's one thing that you get a lot better on the Mi Pad 4 there, because you don't have those black bars. You can get kind of a much smaller device viewing it, and so I think it looks a lot better. And last but not least, the HD10 here. Let's see what it looks like in terms of viewing. And sorry for the noise in the background there. Someone's being a total annoyance. But you see, very similar to the Mi Pad 4 there. Black bars just slightly on the top and bottom, but this screen is a lot more reflective, you notice, than the Mi Pad 4. Let's see if I can hold these together at the same time. There, so you see, reflective wise, wow, you see the difference there. Look, you can almost see me there in the HD10, but you can't see me that much in the Mi Pad 4 Plus. So I think for video viewing, your Mi Pad 4 Plus is probably the winner overall. But yeah, that's kind of a quick overview of what video watching there is like. Now, one thing I quickly wanted to show was the DRM info, because some of you guys were asking about the DRM info on the Mi Pad 4 Plus here. Well, have a look, guys. Please shut up, dude. There it is, L3. That's bad news, guys. That means that you're not going to get full HD on Netflix, on some of those other websites that you guys were interested in. So, you know what? It's a price point. The reality is a lot of Xiaomi's devices are L3. That is the sad reality. The Honor Note 10 is the only phone I've tested recently that I know has that. But now that we're kind of looking at the DRM info on these tablets, let's see what it is on this this Fire right here. And look at that. Oh my gosh. L1 on the cheaper Fire HD10. And on the iPad, I know that you can get full HD with Netflix on the iPad. I'm pretty certain of that because I've done extensive testing of that previously. I'm not going to jump into Netflix now, but that is a shocker. If there's anything more shocking that I've seen happen in today's video, that is it, because right here on this cheaper version, this is an L1 wideband HDMI on this HD10 for 150 bucks, whereas the Xiaomi, the more expensive one, is only L3. And I really gotta think, I gotta cop this up, that because the Amazon HD10 is so prevalent in the US that they made sure that this could show HD content on Netflix. That is a real bummer for the Mi Pad 4 Plus, and I hope that they're able to address this in a future update. If there's any way they can make this L1, that would be amazing, because right now you see, if I had to tell you that HD Netflix was your priority, well, then this is your choice. And dude, that guy is pissing me off so much, so I'm gonna go kick his ass right now. So if I had to pick the display winner right here, who would I pick? I mean, it's a toss-up, I'd say, between these two right here. The HD10's got a pretty solid display for the price, but it kind of falls back because of the laminated display. I'm going to say, just because of kind of more modern style, more modern viewing, that if that is what you care about, because this is a 16 by 10, this is your choice. The Mi Pad 4 Plus probably has, and that laminated display, cannot discount that. That was a major issue, I thought, when I was buying this one. I'm so used to having that laminated display, and it makes a huge difference. But I think overall, though, I'm still going to have to pick the display right here on the iPad, just because it is just the most solid, the most pixel rich. The colors are, I think, the kind of sharpest there. And just like the colors are the brightest, and kind of it does get also the brightest, I feel. So you put them at max brightness here. Let's see how they all look. And the HD10 definitely falls way back there. These two are pretty close, but I would say that the entry-level iPad is still getting the brightest here. And, you know, other than the non-laminated display, I think it's my top choice here, but very close second, the Mi Pad 4 Plus. Now, talking about performance. So for performance, there are, like, these three tablets probably could not be any more different in terms of performance. We're talking about completely different uses of Android. On this side, we have, you know, Amazon's Lollipop base, Amazon, their OS here. We have Android 8.1 running here with the MIUI skin on the Mi Pad 4 Plus. And then we have iOS 10. Well, actually now it's iOS 12. Because I'm running the beta. Let's see there. Yeah, that's right. iOS version 12. There you go. On the iPad. So these are very unique kind of performance scenarios here. But I guess that's why you're watching this right here, guys, to see how do they stack up. Well, let's kind of quickly go down in terms of performance specs here. We're talking about a Snapdragon 660 here on the Mi Pad 4 Plus. The same processor that is on the Mi 6X, or the, as you know, the Mi A2 right here. And that'll give you kind of around a 130,000 Antutu score. So you're looking at kind of in the 1,400 range for single core, and maybe 5,000 plus multi-core scores here on Geekbench. And I think I did run a Geekbench, there it is. So 1639 by 5,941. But the iPad is running the A10 chip here, the same one that's found in the A10 Fusion, that's right, the same one that is found in the iPhone 7. And so that's going to give you a multi-core performance there of much higher, actually. It's going to be much higher. So it's going to be in the 3,000 range, 3,000 single core and around 6,000 or 7,000 multi-core right there. Now I can't run the the scores there on the HD10 because I didn't find a way to get Geekbench on it. But I think honestly it is going to be the weakest of the three, because it is only running a MediaTek MT8173, so it's going to be much lower spec than these two. But I wanted to compare, just to show you guys here, where the Mi Pad 4 Plus stacks up against some of the other devices I've been testing. And this is kind of also important here. How does this stack up? So you see here, single core scores are on this side, multi-core on this side. And so you see there, it definitely stacks up similarly to the Mi 6X in terms of that performance, and you see 5,800 there. What are the phones that perform better? Because this honestly is like a Mi Max 3 XL right here. It feels kind of more like a phone. It's got the LTE, and so let's see here. You see Pocophone is definitely above it. You got your iPhone 10. Those are, I mean, here's the thing, guys. The A series on the iPhone and on the iPads, they are performance beasts. And so that is just something you cannot get away from here. And the reality is that the even kind of with the A10 chip in the iPad here, the performance is going to be stellar. This is the A11 kind of chip for the iPhone 10 here. And then obviously the MacBook Pro is off the charts. But comparing really the performance, you see it's going to be a pretty big gap, I think, between either of these two tablets here and the iPad. That's just the reality, guys. I mean, in terms of just overall performance, I would say that this still offers the best kind of performance the iPad does of these three. But who would I pick as a second? And, you know, Android is so different. So between these two, obviously, I think you're going to have to go with the Mi Pad 4 Plus. A Snapdragon 660 is still a great chip, and I've had no issues running it here. You can see as I go through, open different apps, just kind of through the UI here, it's been responsive, it's been really speedy. I haven't had any issues, any slowdowns whatsoever. You see here, just in terms of kind of just camera speed, opening, you can see there, it's not the fastest, but just opening different applications, it's going to be pretty fast, and I don't think it's an issue overall. Just for kind of daily use, it's not going to be an issue. So honestly, guys, like, it's still a great device. Let's kind of swipe through here. You see there, using Instagram, it is it is doing great. And I honestly don't think you should discount the Mi Pad 4 Plus because performance-wise it is still great. But I just have to give the title here because of that A10 Fusion, because of just how optimized it is. I mean, the iPad is just going to win performance-wise. Sorry, but that is the truth. You just go in and out of apps. It is a whole nother level of zippiness, let's just say. And, you know, it comes at a price, obviously, because this is $329 right here, and they do have compromises from display and other things right here that you need to kind of take into account. But I think overall, performance first, Mi Pad 4 Plus second, and you have your HD10, which with the kind of slow MediaTek processor, serviceable for content consumption, but you can't be doing anything creative or any kind of content creation with this tablet. You really just can't. All right, so here we are with the audio test. And just going to give you a quick overview. These tablets also have very unique capabilities when it comes to audio. So you see it down here with the Mi Pad 4 Plus. It is rocking these two speakers on these sides right here. But surprisingly, they haven't put speakers on the top and bottom here. So you see just on the bottom, you have these two speaker sides. On this side, there's nothing. It's just the LTE band right there. On the iPad entry level as well, you see, because at this price point, only on the iPad Pro do you get the kind of dual speakers on both sides right there. So this one is also like the Mi Pad 4 Plus in that it only has a single bottom firing speakers here. And let's look right here at the HD10. HD10, what kind of speakers do you have? Let's have a look. Boom, boom, boom. Who would have thought that the cheapest tablet of these three is the one that's going to have separated dual speakers? That is awesome. And honestly, that is why I love this tablet for content consumption, because it gets loud. It's actually really a joy to watch kind of just random Amazon videos and and Netflix and other stuff on. It has been great here. But let's do some progressive house here as we normally do. We'll go down the line and do a quick audio test and see how they do. So let's start this at 75% here on the Mi Pad 4 Plus. Okay, now let's switch to the iPad. Going to 75% here. Now let's switch over to the HD10. Okay, see the volume rockers, as you can see here on the HD10 are at the top. So I'm going to make sure we're at 75% here. There we go. Did you notice that separation there? On both hands, there's sound coming out. So it just makes for a much more kind of immersive experience right there. Let's go back to the Mi Pad 4 Plus. But this thing is getting loud. It's getting loud, all right. Let's go 100%. Switch to the iPad. There's your iPad, and now to the HD10. Okay, well, dual speakers doesn't mean great sound, unfortunately. And from my sound, from what my take right now, you can hear it there. It is definitely the quietest at max volume. So let's kind of take this one out of contention there, and let's keep playing here on the Mi Pad 4 Plus. Let's go to 100%. Switch to the iPad. iPad. Wow! That is a clear difference. Wow, wow, wow. Unbelievable. That was a very unexpected test. I hadn't run this test earlier, and so it is surprising to see how loud the Mi Pad 4 Plus's down-firing speaker is. It is loud. It is so loud. Now, I will say that the iPad still probably had a little bit better of a full sound. Kind of, you can hear more of the mids, the lows. You could kind of get a better complex sound from the iPad. But I don't think it really matters if the sound on this is just so much more, just more like powerful and so much more commanding. It is incredible. I actually did not expect that. I definitely will have to test this thing. If I do get the future iPad, if that is ever released at some point, the iPad Pro, I will want to kind of compare and see how this runs, because honestly, that was really impressive there. So I would say, just by sheer volume and by sheer just presence, my top pick here in the audio category goes to the Mi Pad 4 Plus, followed in second place by the iPad with still a full sound but at a lower volume and just kind of not as commanding a sound. And then in third place, well, unfortunately, dual speakers didn't mean much here for the HD10, because the sound was much lower, just much lower than the other two. And so, quick word on camera here, guys. I don't want to spend much time on this section, but just so you know, they all do have a camera in them here. And so, I mean, honestly, this is something that I really don't care too much about. But if you guys must know about the cameras, this is a 13 megapixel on the back here, and it's an f2.0 aperture camera. And you know what? It'll take a shot, but like I said, you're not going to be using this as a camera very often. But it's not too bad, actually. Look at that. That's pretty decent. So I would say, just on specs alone, probably right there, that's a 13 megapixel. We have on the iPad here an 8 megapixel camera, which I think, given the actual kind of speed of the processor there, you see it's pretty quick to take a photo. And the quality is not bad, but it is an 8 megapixel f2.4 right there. So it definitely is not a great shooter. And what about the HD10 right here? I almost think I should not even say this, because it just seems just totally unfair. 2 megapixel. I mean, you might as well have a VGA shooter on this, because you see it there. If you're using this as a camera, go get a phone, guys. Please go get a phone, because this camera is awful. It's absolutely awful. So in order of just camera here, really quickly, we see obviously the HD10 is dead last. But guess what? The iPad is actually pretty close with it. The 8 megapixel 2.4 f2.4 shooter on this is good. It's okay. It's probably better for video overall than any of them. But at least just as it relates to kind of camera quality so far, I would say that the Mi Pad 4 is definitely the winner right there. And so here we go, guys. This is it. This is the final kind of section of the video. I'm going to be doing just a quick look here at how the gaming goes on these three tablets. So let's get them closer here, because I'm going to be starting the app at the same time and see if I can do it in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Well, I think it's a clear surprise, if I talked about the performance category earlier, that the iPad was going to get in first, and it did, followed by here the Mi Pad 4 Plus, and then in last place here, let's just say I'm 89, because I'm not. All right, so here we are, guys. I have all the tablets ready to go, so let's press next on these. Let's get the gaming on. Let's game on. So I'm going to try to press these as fast, as close as I can to the same time, but it may be a little bit faster on one or the other. Let's see. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so not a scientific test, obviously. Oh, darn. It was... Okay, so I definitely hobbled the Mi Pad 4 Plus there. But let's kind of have a look here to see how they do once they get started. The iPad is off already, so let's kind of just quickly play a little bit with the iPad here. Put the volume and give you the experience of what it's like on the iPad playing. And honestly, guys, like, the performance on this is beautiful. I mean, there's a reason why I got this iPad, because it was the cheapest entry-level iPad, but it's not sacrificing on performance. It's still an awesome performer right here. It really is. So you're not going to be let down by this iPad in terms of performance. And so any one of you guys considering buying an iPad still, you know, I love iPads. They've always been my favorite tablets. You know, I use them all the time. Haven't used them as much recently because I've been so into phones, but you know what? Look at that. I finished the race. It's done. So let's get away from that. Now let's go to the Mi Pad 4 Plus right here. And the Mi Pad 4 Plus. And look at that, man. That is loud, loud, loud. Look at that. And honestly, this is like playing on a giant Mi Pad 3. This thing is, and it performed beautifully there. You see that? Look at that. That was awesome. All right, so here we are on the HD10. I just wanted to give this tablet a chance here compared to the other two. And honestly, I think for the price, you know, if you can get this under 150 US dollars, like I got, Asphalt 9 is not available on the stores. So I just downloaded the APK, guys. So if any one of you guys have the HD10, you can play it. It's probably the cheapest way to play Asphalt 9 on a big screen that there is. This is a 10.1 inch screen, and it is a little more reflective, you know, than I'd probably like, but it's not bad at all. All right, so here we are in the snow world here on the MiPad 4 Plus. And one thing I've wanted to mention actually related to performance that I hadn't mentioned was about battery life. So you guys are probably wondering, how is the battery doing with this one? Well, I haven't charged it yet, guys. I'm probably in the, I want to say in the, you see there, I'm in like probably the 40% range. So once I've completely gotten down to like 5% on this MiPad 4 Plus, I will definitely be testing the battery. So stay tuned for that, guys. And but I will say, just compared to the other two here, the MiPad 4 Plus is rocking an 8,000, I'm not mistaken here. Yeah, that's right, an 8,620 milliampere battery. That is a huge battery for this huge device. And honestly, it's going to give you a lot of gameplay time, whereas the iPad is running, I want to say closer to like a 7 or 6,000. It only lists the 32.4 watt hours on the iPad, but the iPad will still give you solid battery life. Around 10 hours is Apple's claim all the time. And then finally over here, the HD10. So if you were comparing these two here in your markets and thinking, okay, should I just buy this? Because this one's really available in the US, for example, but this one you might have to import in. Well, guess what? The HD10 has a paltry 3,830 milliampere battery. This is not going to last long at all. In fact, I hate to say this, but it's true. The battery on this phone that I'm doing just keeping some notes on here, the Pocophone F1, is bigger. The battery is bigger on this phone than on this tablet. That is just unacceptable. And honestly, I don't know, maybe that's why they didn't want you playing Asphalt 9 on the HD10, because it just can't handle it. It's going to die pretty quick. And so that is a surprise right there, and a spec for you guys to consider. If you are considering Android tablets, this may be a really good choice with its big 8,000, almost 9,000 milliampere battery. And I'll keep doing tests. I'll be kind of updating you guys on how the battery life is with this thing as I play through it there. But you saw there, the gameplay was awesome. This is a great tablet for gaming. And so kind of looking now finally at the kind of gaming and my verdict between these three, which is the best overall tablet for gaming right here? Well, I'm going to say it's kind of related to performance. And so just because of the performance benefits, I will give the slight edge to the iPad entry level. But if you don't care about those performance benefits and you care more about the immersive experience in a more svelte package, then this is your choice. I think they're both kind of first place finishers for different reasons. First place on this one because of the rockin' sound and a much smaller package, and I think a just much more enjoyable experience. The aspect ratio on this, it feels just like a giant kind of steering wheel while you play with it. And so maybe just for that, I would give the edge to the MiPad 4 Plus. But if you're in the if you're in the iOS ecosystem and you only want iPads, and I totally get it. Some of you guys are pretty much like, you know, Android tablets. Who buys Android tablets anymore? And this is the iPad. This is where it's at. You know what? You're not going to be let down with this, but the aspect ratio is not as good. It's bezel-tastic here, and you know what? Like, it's just not maybe as solid in terms of the sound department as the MiPad 4 Plus. But I would equally probably rank these in the end. Two first place finishers, too close to call between these two, and the HD10 is dead last here in the gaming category. So that's the end of this video, guys. This turned into another epic comparison. It almost seems like the bigger the device, the longer the video, man. It's just insane. But let me know what you guys think. And, you know, I guess the final question I would ask you guys, and I'll try to answer it now, is which is the best tablet of these three? Which tablet offers the best experience for the price overall? And if I had to kind of really pick my top one, it's going to be really hard between these two. I would say overall the HD10, it is obviously the cheapest tablet of the three. It is under the $200 US price point, and is really more of a consumption device though. So if you're in the Android ecosystem and you just want something to watch some quick Netflix on, some quick YouTube on, that's going to be your choice. But I think most people would be better served overall, if they're going to do anything beyond that, so like gaming or any other type of usage in their tablet, they are better served between the iPad here and the Mi Pad 4 Plus with one of these two by far. And if I had to pick one, you're kind of looking at it there. I mean, this one looks like it's from another time already. This design, this display, even though it's a lower res display, it just looks more modern. And yet I'm torn because the performance I know on this entry-level iPad is the best performance we've seen on an entry-level iPad ever. So I'm going to kind of split it down the middle, guys. I really can't make a choice. I would say it really will depend on your ecosystem this time around. And if you are in the Apple ecosystem, or if you have an iPhone, or if you use iOS products, well, there's nowhere else to look. The iPad is the best kind of value iPad you can get at $329 US. But if you can get this Mi Pad 4 Plus for under $300, if you can find it online, you might not be able to, but if you can find it, or if you're in the Hong Kong area and you can get this tablet for around the price that I did, which was at around just over 2,200 Hong Kong dollars, then you should jump on it. And for anyone interested in what Xiaomi is offering with their tablet range, look no further. I mean, I know there's the smaller Mi Pad 4, the 8-inch one, but honestly, if you're getting a tablet that small, you may as well just buy the Mi Max 3, because the Mi Max 3 is already a 7-inch. It's a 7-inch display. I mean, even this Pocophone right here is a 6.1-inch display. These things are getting bigger and bigger, these phones are. And so it doesn't make sense, I think, in my opinion now, in this day and age, to get a smaller tablet. Invest the money, get the Mi Pad 4 Plus, because this is going to go so much more bang for buck. And you're going to enjoy the experience a lot better. You got that Snapdragon 660 processor. You got the better cameras. You have, yes, the resolution takes a slight hit, but the screen still looks amazing. And it's really helped by that laminated screen, as you can see there. All of these icons look like they're just swimming on the surface here of that ocean image there. So I would say if you're in the Android ecosystem, there may be no better deal for a tablet for what you get than this Mi Pad 4 Plus today. So that's it, guys. Definitely hit me up in the comments there with any questions you had. This was another epic video, like I mentioned. But if you like this video, give me that thumbs up. And if you love the content of Frankie Tech here, definitely subscribe to the channel, guys. I do appreciate all the support. And like you guys know, I will be finalizing. I have the giveaway that I will be announcing the winner of later this week. So stay tuned for a video I'll be doing probably tomorrow, just as a reminder for any of you guys about that. But stay tuned for that one, guys. That's it for this video, and I guess I'll leave it by saying this is Frankie Tech signing off. Y'all have a good one.